What up, nation? Welcome to another edition of the WiseTake NBA DFS Early Look CK013 here. You can find me on Twitter at CK_013. And of course, I'm from the WiseTake Nation, which you can find on all the social media platforms listed below or directly at wisetake.com if you're looking to take your DFS game to the next level. We're a premium DFS content provider as well as a DFS community designed to help make you a better DFS player. But check us out. We got day passes available, $2.50 all the cost. If you're new to the channel, welcome. You came to the right place for free DFS content right here on YouTube, or if you're listening on Podbean, iTunes, Spotify, whatever the case is, we appreciate you. Make sure you subscribe, hit the notifications bell so you're notified whenever we put out content. You don't want to miss out. And hit the like button. Likes go a long way, really help us out, allow us to continue to do what we do on a regular basis for free. So the likes help us spread the word. If you can share it with anybody you think that is new to DFS or somebody that you think could benefit from a seasoned community. We have been around for a few years, or even just benefiting from the show, man. Just give us a little share action. We appreciate it. So Thursday slate, it was a small one, and it seemed pretty straightforward for the most part. We had news we knew we were waiting for, and then all the news kind of broke out at once, and there was some that we didn't really expect a ton. As they say, all hell broke loose. So we'll see how that goes. Obviously, you had to react the right way. There were some things going on with guys that were injured, but we're going to play because their team needed him to play, such as Shake Milton. He hurt his knee literally the night before, and it led to him not starting, but then he started the second half. And then Anthony Simons, without Dame, was still going to be limited to 20 minutes because of an injury he had on Tuesday. So it was an interesting one, but hopefully you did well. Drop a comment. Tell me how you did. Drop a comment in general. Talk to me. But anyway, we've got a bigger slate to move on to. This is the last show of the week. We do these shows Monday through Friday. And it's a decent slate, right? We got 9 games. We got some action. We do have some news. We know that Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is out again, so we'll get to there. And in the meantime, we're going to do what we do at FanDuel DraftKings. Starting off with the first game, New Orleans and Indiana. And here we are. Sabonis 8-6 still seems too cheap. He'll be matched up with Zion. That should be interesting. But Sabonis still seems too cheap, especially on DraftKings. On FanDuel, anytime he's under 9K, he seems cheap. Zion's priced about where he has been, right, on both sides. Ingram, man, I mean, just keep waiting for Ingram to have that big game. And it's just, just hasn't been happening. I guess it was okay against Phoenix and against Washington. So I guess in the right opponent. But is Indiana the right opponent? A team that plays a little bit slower, emphasizes defense, and is really good on the boards. Malcolm Brogdon, I do think is interesting on the other side. He's 8K on DraftKings, but 7-8 on FanDuel seems kind of cheap. Not a good game in a revenge spot against Milwaukee, but this is a really good spot. New Orleans has gotten significantly worse defensively against point guards since Jrue Holiday was traded, so throw that out there. Other than that, I mean, the guys are okay. I think Jeremy Lamb is in play. 5'8 on FanDuel. How much is he here? 5'2 on DraftKings. He's highly in play. I'm assuming TJ McConnell's been playing well because DraftKings priced him up to 5K the last time he was on a slate. Oh, he's been balling. He's been getting bigger minutes too. So we're going to have to consider him. On FanDuel, 4,600. Much more interested there. But take a look at TJ McConnell's last 3 games. 25, 28, 27 minutes. And he's been balling. And we know he's a high point minute player when he's on the court. That we know. So, yeah, I can get down with some TJ McConnell. That's probably it from what I see, at least on the obvious. I mean, Adams is always cheap on FanDuel for whatever reason. What's his price on 5'8"? A little more expensive. But on DraftKings, it's like, Brogdon, Sabonis, right? And then on FanDuel, I think TJ McConnell is in the conversation for sure. And Lamb on both sides, too. I do like Lamb. And then Brogdon at 7-8 on FanDuel. Looks like a really good deal. Next up, we got Chicago and Orlando. So, Nurkic, the most expensive player on DraftKings in this game, while Levine is the most expensive player on FanDuel. I kind of think on DraftKings, they both kind of seem too cheap. I know Levine hasn't alphaed out as much as we'd like, right? But we know he gets big minutes. We know the usage is high. So 8,400 on DraftKings seems kind of low, but then again, 8.5 for Vooch against the Chicago Bulls team that is not good against bigs seems kind of even more ridiculous. And Vooch has been decent. He's not been like, going nuts. I mean, on DraftKings, FanDuel at 8.8, you get it. But on DraftKings at 8.5, that seems way too cheap, man. He seems like he's going to be a cash game play once again, especially with Aaron Gordon out once again. I'm cool with Fournier, too. He's playing well, right? And we got Aaron Gordon out, so there's some usage to go around. We know that the guys replacing him aren't exactly high usage players, right? Gary Clark, James Ennis, and these guys. Terrence Ross, man, he burned me pretty bad last time out. Let me find him. He's 4,700 again. They're just tempting me to play him. He's 49 on DraftKings. He was terrible. I mean, just real bad. 2 games against Toronto in a row, and he was terrible in both. But you can see before that why we were looking to play him, what he can do. So once again in tournaments, I will continue to roster this asshole, and hopefully he comes through. That's all I can say. Thaddeus Young is now 6'2" on DraftKings, but I can't say he hasn't earned it. He's been playing well. 2 games against the Knicks. I mean, he's just balling right now. Wendell Carter's been out. He's going to have to guard Vooch. Hopefully he can stay out of foul trouble, but I think even at these prices, the way he's playing, kind of got to consider him. But I'm going to be looking to go elsewhere once again. I mean, I should have hopped on in that game against the Knicks strictly because I know how bad the Knicks are against centers, but it's hard to really hop on that train when you haven't been on it. Cole Anthony should be pretty popular. 5K again on FanDuel. 5.7 on DraftKings. Maybe he's not as popular there, but Chicago has not been good defensively against point guards either. On to the next, Toronto and Brooklyn. Every team that plays Brooklyn seems to go off. So as long as Toronto can hang in there, which is it's all task to ask. Brooklyn's obviously a very good team. This one should be pretty good. So Harden, Durant, Irving. It's always going to be tough to figure it out. I think Durant is the main alpha, right? And you figure what Van Fleet on Harden and then Kyle Lowry on Kyrie. I would kind of lean towards, I don't know. I really don't know which one of the three. I kind of feel like maybe this is another Harden spot. And Harden's usage on paper hasn't always looked great, but because he's the only one doing everything. Right, he's getting assists, he's going for triple doubles, getting rebounds, and he's playing like massive minutes. And we know D'Antoni's over there, right, as an assistant coach, so he knows to play the dude massive minutes. Kevin Durant, a little more scoring dependent, though he can get peripherals, and then Kyrie's become extremely scoring dependent at this point. Just kind of, you don't know what you're gonna get. So Kyrie did come through for us against the Clippers, and that's the thing. When the game goes off, you can play at least 2 of these guys. You can. Like Durant was kind of the bust last time, which made sense. Durant was going to be covered by Kawhi Leonard. And again, because Harden, even though Harden, I think, drew at least some points, drew Paul George, he's not scoring dependent. 14 assists, 12 rebounds. So I think Harden and Kyrie we can continue to look at. But in this specific matchup, I do think I like Harden, right? And on DraftKings especially, where you get the bonuses for double-double, triple-doubles, and you don't lose as much for turnovers. That's awesome. Fred VanVleet is 9K on FanDuel. Went for 77 against Orlando. After going for 17 against them, there's just one of those games, man. He just couldn't miss. I think on DraftKings, he's still within reach, but 9K on FanDuel is a stretch. Now, this game could go nuts, and that 9K price tag is going to keep his ownership low, but all of Toronto's priced up on FanDuel. DraftKings, a little bit. A gradual increase. On FanDuel, they're all kind of priced up. And I get it. They've been playing well. And this is a GPP kind of game, right? These guys at these prices are not cash playable on FanDuel. But on DraftKings, you could be talked into it. I think Norman Powell's kind of interesting. 6'4", we know he starts. And he's a shooter. So I think a team like Brooklyn that's really long, you're gonna need somebody that can shoot. So I think I'd lean towards him. But I do have some I guess worries about the Nets hanging around. The Nets this year have not looked good. They really haven't looked good. And the prices on DraftKings for Toronto are definitely much more appealing. Siakam, even Lowry at 7.8, opposed to, 8.5 for Lowry, 8.9 for Pascal, and then 9K for VanVleet. But I think Harden is my main takeaway from this game, and I thought I would like a little bit more. But if the pricing is not right, it's not right. Cleveland and Milwaukee. So you got Giannis against Cleveland. Cleveland hung around with these guys in the last game. That was kind of surprising, right? To me, anyway. They hung around at least for a little while when they played. I think, or maybe not. Anyway, Giannis is fine. If the game can stay close enough, he's fine. I'm not crazy about Drew Holiday's 8-3 price tag on FanDuel, but he's 7-7 on DraftKings. He's okay. He's been playing really well. There's nothing against him. It's just, you would think on a 9-game slate you'd have better plays to gravitate to. Andre Drummond is 7,500 on FanDuel. He played 22 minutes against the Clippers and did shit. But just 2 games before that, he played 32 minutes and went for 60. 7.5 is a little too crazy. 8.2 on DraftKings is still within reach. Volatile. But on FanDuel, 7.5 is a little bit crazy. I think he's going to be pretty popular. Assuming there's not something I don't fucking know, right? Colin Sexton's questionable. If he's in, I'd be okay with it. Bobby Portis, 6,200, man. And he went for... Look what he's doing. Over 40 fantasy points in 2 straight games, and he hasn't played more than 23 minutes. Against the Pacers, he played 16 minutes and went for 45. It's insane. It's insane. I can't pay 6.2 for him, though. And maybe I'll just be a sucker and miss out, but I don't know. Can't do it. 5.4 on DraftKings, a little bit more within reach, but he's not even value anymore. It's kind of crazy. But yeah, I don't see too much on DraftKings that I'm not into. If somebody were to be out, obviously we'd load up. If Sexton were to miss, we could look at Cedi Osman, who's only 5.1 on FanDuel and 4.6 on DraftKings. And and obviously we look at Garland, who is 5.8 on DraftKings and 6.1 on FanDuel. But Drummond at 7,500 on FanDuel is like the hot topic here, I think. Right? Yeah. What the fuck happened to Kevin Love? Is he never going to play again? Anyway, Utah, Charlotte, we're in the 8 o'clock games. Good spot for Gobert. Not a super aggressive player, but Charlotte's just bad against bigs, as we saw. Terry Rozier is a game-time decision. That's going to depend on how much we like LaMelo Ball, though he has been disappointing in this role. We know what his ceiling is, so we're going to continue to look there. Donovan Mitchell is okay for tournaments. Gordon Hayward, I can get down on, right? And it's a little revenge action. I mean, he was on the Celtics already. But the big thing about Hayward is he seems fairly safe for the most part, for at least 30 fantasy points. And I know at 7.5 and 7.4 you want more than that, but the minutes are consistent. You're going to get your opportunities. And Utah is on a back-to-back, so we expect them to hang around this game. It would be here. They're at home against a Utah team on a back-to-back. Conley's okay. Bojan Bogdanovich's prices come up. We should probably look for Bridges, because I know PJ Washington is out again. Bridges is 5.4 on DraftKings and 4.8 on FanDuel. He's still a little too cheap on FanDuel. If Rozier's out, we could take a look at Malik Monk. 4,500 for Jordan Clarkson. I can get down on that. He was 5K today. I'm not even sure what he did, but 4.5 seems a little too low. What is he over here? Clarkson on DraftKings. Where are you? 5.5. See, 5.5 versus... This is exactly why it's beneficial to play 2 sites. You can get your exposure mostly on one site. St. Bridges and Clarkson from this game. Bridges 4,800 over here on FanDuel. So, could be some interesting plays here. Again, I think Hayward is a fairly safe play from what we've seen. Washington and Miami, a little rematch action. Westbrook should play this time. Westbrook 9.8 on FanDuel and 9K on DraftKings is real cheap, man. I would be shocked if he didn't have eye ownership. He's back. He played 34 and 32 minutes. The minutes are back. They're not exactly the 38, 9, 40, whatever. But assuming Westbrook plays, which I don't see why he wouldn't, he should be pretty popular. And I expect him to do much better than Ish Smith, who was a complete disaster the other day. Bradley Beal is someone whose ownership could come in lower because of Westbrook's ownership being so high. Again, another player that's fairly safe. He looks like he's chasing the scoring title. I don't see how he's not going to get it. He's taking every shot he could possibly take. So I'm fine with him for tournaments. Same thing with Bam. Good for tournaments. Jimmy Bucket's been playing awesome. The price is probably where it should be. He's been awesome. I have no problem going back to Jimmy Buckets. Hero's only 6K. Let's see what Hero's been doing. Looks like Dragic's questionable again. Hero's playing big minutes. I can definitely get behind Hero on FanDuel. And where is he? Even 6.5 on DraftKings is not bad, right? I know he hasn't been doing that dirty, but we'll see. Goran Dragic coming off a terrible game. I'd be willing to go back to Dragic at 5.2 in tournaments specifically. 5.7 on DraftKings, I don't know why, but that extra money just seems to hurt a little more for some reason when I look at it initially. Hachimura at 5K, someone to keep on your radar. He's playing big minutes again. He's producing fairly well. 5K on FanDuel seems kind of cheap. 5.4 on DraftKings also seems kind of cheap. And then you got your tournament guys you can consider, right? Like your Mo Wagners and whatnots if you feel like it. Duncan Robinson. Not as explosive. I don't want to say explosive. He was a three-point shooter, but not getting it done as much. But Bertans. This one's, I mean, he hasn't even at some point he's going to fucking go nuts and he's going to win somebody a lot of money. Because he's taking number 3-pointers. 12, 10, 8 threes. It's like all he's taking basically is threes. So he's going to have a game where he's shooting like 50% from three and he's going to fucking ball, especially on DraftKings where you get a little extra for the three. So I will continue to play Davis Bertans on both sites when he is this cheap. It's the bottom line. Nito out again. Okay. All right. Minnesota and OKC. This should be one we get a lot of plays from. We know Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is out. Looks like D'Lo is once again a game-time decision. So is Naz Reid. I don't see why they wouldn't play. They both played in the last one. So we'll have to see. The Minnesota side is okay. It's a bunch of guys that are okay. They're all fine. It's the OKC side, though, that we get excited for. Hold on, let me just click off this one. Right. So specifically the guards and Basley. I'm going to isolate on DraftKings OKC only. Hamidou Diallo's 5.2 on DraftKings. I don't care. I'll continue to play him. He did shoot well, and I was disappointed. I thought his usage would have been a little bit higher. But I know what his upside really is. So at 5K on FanDuel and 5.2 on DraftKings, I will continue to play him. Theo Maledon just seems pretty reliable to get minutes. 35 against Houston with no Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. And I would assume that we're going to see more of the same from him. Darius Bazley, man, he was the hero. As the nation, we love Bazley. We play him more than the average bear, and we're going to continue to do so in these particular spots. Double-doubles against Houston, Minnesota, not good against bigs either, so I'm loving Bazley once again. And I think he's cheap over here too, right? 5.6, get the fuck out of here. So, yeah, it's really these guys. Al Horford even. Really good spot for Al Horford as well. Didn't do so great against Houston, but against Phoenix, you saw what the upside could be. And Minnesota's a really good matchup for him. So I think we consider Al Horford also, for sure. But definitely Bazley, definitely Hamidou Diallo. Maledon will need consideration. Maledon looked like he was going to bust, but the minutes he eventually kind of got there with the minutes. But him at an elevated price, I could pass on. Hamidou Diallo, Bazley, no. I'm playing him. Detroit and Phoenix. Okay. All right, Detroit and Phoenix. Oh, there we go. DeAndre Ayton, 7-1 on FanDuel. I could definitely play some DeAndre Ayton. Even with Booker back, I don't care. I could definitely play DeAndre Ayton at 7-1 on FanDuel. 8.5 on DraftKings is more of like, if I can afford it, maybe I throw him in there, but I'm not going out of my way. Chris Paul, 8K on FanDuel, 7.9 on DraftKings, had a real shitty game. But before that, he was just rolling. So I don't want to rule him out for tournaments. Devin Booker, man, Chris Paul has really kind of hurt his upside, right? He's taking the ball out of his hands. Booker did miss some time, so his minutes were relatively low. But if the game where his minutes are high, if you look how well he's playing in these minutes, the game that his minutes are actually high, these prices are going to be too low. So I think we could definitely add their Devin Booker to the pool. While I don't think he's always a slam dunk at this price, right now in particular, he's shooting the ball well. He's scoring at least, right? He's scoring well. And so when they decide to take off the training wheels and let him go 38, 39 minutes like he normally does, those 30s are going to turn into 40s. And he's priced where that could be good enough. A little more than 40, or even 50, right? That's really what you want. But still, the price is low. I can get down on both sites. Both sites. What else do we have? Grant's okay. 6.8 again. He was pretty popular last time he was his price on FanDuel, and he did well against Utah. So I expect him to have some ownership, and rightfully so, on FanDuel. On DraftKings, probably not as much. The 7K doesn't take you as far as position, I don't think. DeLon Wright is playing the minutes, right? Derrick Rose is not playing a ton of minutes. Derrick Rose, I think, missed the last game. He was sick. If he's back, the price is low. He's worth the risk in tournaments if you have multiple teams. Keep an eye out for the status of Jay Crowder. Thought we'd get a note here. Yep. Crowder's doubtful. Okay. So I didn't realize he was actually doubtful. So that should be a boost for Cam Johnson initially. So let's look at Cam Johnson. 44 on DraftKings, FanDuel, 48 on DraftKings. Cam Johnson, not necessarily a huge player consistency-wise. But with Jay Crowder off the court, we could see an increased role. There's more reason to play to like Booker too, because Crowder is somebody that likes to catch and shoot. So if that's one less guy that Chris Paul has, just something to consider. Also, I think a boost probably for like a Jeremy Grant or Blake Griffin. Probably a boost for Blake Griffin, who was going to probably see Crowder defense and is now going to see Cam Johnson or Nader. So it's actually a big boost for Blake. Blake's only 5'2". And he's deserved it. I mean, I don't know what the hell's going on with him, if he's just saving himself for retirement or what. But Nader is really cheap. He could see more run. Nader is 3,900. He's shown some upside this year in limited minutes. If we thought he was going to get more minutes, he could be someone to consider. How much is he on? 3.3 on DraftKings. That's almost free. It's almost free. So we'll want to take advantage of that situation. Of course, Mikal Bridges could also benefit from more shots. That's what he likes to do. Maybe he shoots more threes, but there'll be something here for us to delve into as we get into the later slates. It's actually a really good spot for Mason Plumlee. Just saying. This is a team in Phoenix that is DeAndre Ayton not good defensively. Bigs have just destroyed him. So it's actually a sneaky good spot for Plumlee if you can build up the stones to play him on a slate this size. But we'll have to circle back for sure if Crowder is out. He's doubtful. So we'll circle back for sure on Detroit, Phoenix. Boston and the Clippers. This should be a good game. Boston's across the country. They did have a day off, but they had a back-to-back before that. It's a tough spot for them schedule-wise. It is. No Marcus Smart still. Jaylen Brown looks like he's a game-time decision. I would assume he plays here. This is a big game. He's truly questionable. So we'll see, but I assume he plays. The prices on him are tough, man. You figure Jaylen Brown and Kawhi, similar situations that what we saw in Brooklyn. I think Kawhi's going to take Tatum, and PG probably have Jaylen. And right now, we'll have to check the status of Patrick Beverly is out. So with Patrick Beverly out, Kemba Walker, once again, looks like the guy. He's going to get some Reggie Jackson defense. Kemba did well against Golden State at this low price. I'm surprised they left him down there. Didn't play, obviously, against Sacramento, but Kemba seems like the guy. 6'5" on DraftKings, I understand, not feeling comfortable, but I mean, if Jaylen Brown misses, then he becomes chalk. And he'll probably still be chalk on FanDuel. It's just too cheap. But it is a big slate. We'll see. Some people do weird shit for no reason. Marcus Morris. Could it be a little revenge action? Maybe. Jeff Teague is really cheap at 4,200. I know he didn't do a ton. 23 minutes, that was it. That was disappointing, right? Looks like they worked in a lot of these guys at the guard position. 23 minutes for Tremont Waters. Yeah, there could be something there for value. Peyton Pritchard, if he plays, I'd feel more comfortable going with him, but he missed a lot of time, so I would assume he'd be eased in regardless. All that we really do is eliminate Teague's relevance if he were to play. Thompson had a big-ass game, man. He played really well against the Kings. 22 minutes is all he got, and he balled. But that's the problem with Boston. The only guys that you feel like are getting those big minutes are those main three guys. And normally that's a good thing, but when their prices get to a certain point, you start to, you could use a little help somewhere else. Yeah, even Grant Williams only got 14 minutes. They got a lot of guys that are just kind of playing lightly, right? Just not playing a ton. 14 minutes for Javonte Green. Carson Edwards, who was a player that's shown upside last year, only got 7 minutes. So, yeah, I mean, Kemba's the guy. Tatum, Brown, sure, but to me, Kemba, price-wise and matchup-wise, makes the most sense. Serge Ibaka, I don't mind at 5'8" on FanDuel. This is probably a pretty good, decent spot for Paul George, Probably with no Marcus Smart, that hurts the defense of Boston for sure. But Boston has historically struggled against the guys that can just shoot. And while Kawhi could shoot, PG I think is playing a little more of the perimeter. I mean, theoretically, it's a great spot for Lou Will. He's the one that could really smash. Now I know people don't want to hear that shit because he's been terrible, but listen, it sucks he's not getting the minutes. Disappointing. But this is a spot where he could smash. And if he's cheap, which he is, $5K on FanDuel. Where are you, Lou Will. 4-4 on DraftKings. He could be a little sneaky. I guess you could argue, why not just play Kennard? But who wants to fucking do that? We like sweet Lou, man. Lou Kennard is not Lou Williams. Lou Kennard is very cheap, though. So maybe he is very cheap. But anyway, that's going to do it for today's breakdown. Appreciate those of you who took the time to hang out on the early look. Don't forget, we do a pre-lock show for WiseTake Nation subscribers at WiseTake.com, where we go 45 minutes prior to lock, take you up to lock to keep you as updated as you can with the latest information. I explain to you, I go over when there's news, I update the projections and let everybody know when they're updated so you know to download them. But you can check out the rest of our content at WiseTake.com. It's $2.50 if you want to try us out. We do the pre-lock live shows Monday through Friday. We do have content throughout all 7 days. But Saturday, no show. Sunday, no show. Sunday is only projections and cheat sheets. Saturday, everything but the show. But Monday through Friday, you get the show. So get a day pass, $2.50. $2.50, all it costs. Check it out. For myself, the entire WiseTake Nation, please hit the like button on your way out. As always, good luck.
Yes.